Welcome to this explainer. I'm going to throw on my Agile coach hat today because we're about to decode some seriously tough certification questions together. By the end of this study session, you're going to have the core of the Agile mindset completely locked down. Whether you're prepping for your PMI-ACP, a Scrum Master certification, or you just really want to understand how top-tier Agile leaders think, you are in exactly the right place.
Now, if you're feeling a little stressed out about tackling complex adaptive frameworks on your exam, hey, take a deep breath. These tests are notoriously tricky for a reason. They aren't just checking what you memorized, they're testing how you actually think. They want to see if you can shed those old, traditional project management habits. But here's the absolute secret sauce: keyword identification. Spotting the right words will instantly unlock the right answers for you. We're going to break down the exact red flag and green flag keywords you need to be looking for. All right, let's take a quick look at our agenda. We're going to logically build your confidence across 4 steps. Section 1 is the Agile Mindset Basics. Section 2 covers Complex Adaptive Systems, or CAS. Section 3 is decoding the Cynefin framework. And finally, Section 4 is navigating the Stacy Matrix. We're going straight from basic Agile tools right into the deep waters of systems thinking. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the Agile Mindset Basics, spotting the right tools and teams. We're starting our study session with the foundational concepts of how Agile teams actually operate on the ground and the communication tools they rely on every single day. Here's your first practice question straight out of Domain 1. The question is super simple. Which is an information radiator? Just take a brief pause and really think about what that term actually means in a modern Agile workspace. Ask yourself, what is its core purpose? Check out the crazy contrast between these options. B, C, and D are throwing around words like confidential, private, and hidden. Look, unless you're literally building a secret villain layer, those words are massive red flags on an Agile exam. Agile thrives on pure transparency and shared understanding. So the only logical answer here is A, a highly visible sprint board. It literally radiates information to absolutely anyone who walks by or logs in. Now that we've got transparency nailed down, let's talk about team structure. Why does Agile push so incredibly hard for cross-functional teams? The question asks exactly that. Cross-functional teams, why are they valuable? Think about how a traditional, clunky, siloed organization works compared to a sleek, Agile squad. This is exactly where test makers love to try and trip you up. They'll throw in these distractors about reducing accountability or increasing handoffs. But here is the reality. Every single time you hand a task off to another department, you are hemorrhaging time and context. Handoffs are pure waste, and delayed decisions will absolutely kill your momentum. The Agile mindset is obsessed with flow and getting things done. So your green flag answer is that cross-functional teams increase delivery capability. You've got every single skill you need right there in one team to take a feature from a sticky note all the way to a finished product. Excellent job. Moving right along to Section 2, Complex Adaptive Systems, or CAS, embracing unpredictability. Now that we have the basics down, let's turn up the heat a bit and dive into how Agile handles environments where things are, well, completely unpredictable. Read this next question really carefully. CAS suggests this is the classic trap. It's designed specifically to see if they can lure you back into a traditional, predictive project management mindset. They want to know if you're comfortable with the fact that you just don't know everything up front. Look at how they try to bait you with these commands and control illusions. Notice the absolute terms. Predict everything. Solve all issues. Centralized control works best. Guys, in complex systems, crystal balls just don't exist. Those are huge, flashing red flags. And that makes option B, emergent behavior exists, your bright, glowing green flag. Agile fully acknowledges that as you start building, totally new realities are going to emerge. So the big takeaway here is that grasping complex adaptive systems means accepting a hard truth. You simply cannot predict everything. It's impossible. You have to adapt to what actually emerges. You learn by doing, by iterating, and by reacting to real-time feedback, rather than blindly following some massive plan you made back when you literally knew the least about the project. All right, welcome to Section 3, Decoding the Cynefin Framework, Acting in Complexity. Get ready, because we are about to tackle one of the heaviest frameworks you're going to face on this exam. Here's the question. Cynefin framework. In a complex domain, leaders should do what? Pause for a second and think about how you'd personally react to a deeply complex situation. What is the exact sequence of actions that Agile demands when cause and effect are totally foggy and only make sense in hindsight? Let's break down these options. You can instantly scrap the traditional project management traps. Plan, execute, close, and analyze, control, direct. Those belong in completely predictable domains where you know exactly what's going to happen. Sense, categorize, respond is for simple, obvious stuff where you just follow a best practice checklist. That process of elimination leads us straight to the correct agile response for complex domains. Option B, probe, sense, respond. Think of a probe as a quick prototype or a safe-to-fail experiment. You're just testing the waters.
When you spot the keyword complex domain on test day, your immediate knee-jerk reaction has to be probe, sense, respond. In complexity, you can't just categorize the problem. It's too messy. You have to run that safe-to-fail experiment. That's your probe. Then you sense what actually happens. And finally, you respond by either amplifying the good stuff or quickly shutting down the bad. Before we jump over to our final framework, tuck this coach's tip into your back pocket. It's an absolute lifesaver for differentiating the two major conceptual models you'll be tested on. Cynefin tells us how to act in complexity, the actual steps of probing and sensing. But the Stacy Matrix tells us why we have to adapt, based on the sheer amount of uncertainty we're dealing with. And that brings us perfectly to Section 4, Navigating the Stacy Matrix, Mapping Uncertainty. For our final study section, we're going to look at how this matrix maps out uncertainty to basically dictate our entire game plan for a project. Check out this test question. Stacy Matrix. High uncertainty requires what? When you see this, you need to be actively hunting for keywords that address wild, unpredictable, high-stakes environments where nobody knows exactly what the requirements or the technology will look like tomorrow.
Just look at these wrong choices. They are practically screaming inflexibility at you. Things like command control, scope freezing, and fixed baselines. That is the exact opposite of what you need when you're flying blind into the unknown. And that confirms that option B, adaptive approaches, is absolutely our winning answer here.
Stepping back, the core logic of the Stacy Matrix is beautifully simple. As uncertainty goes up, your reliance on fixed baselines and scope freezing has to drop to zero. You have to replace them completely with adaptive approaches. If you try to force strict control in a highly uncertain zone, your project isn't just going to bend, it's going to completely snap. At the end of the day, crushing these test questions teaches us what the true essence of the Agile mindset is all about. Passing your certification isn't about memorizing flashcards. It's fundamentally about rewiring how you view unpredictable systems. It's about learning to embrace that emergent behavior instead of desperately trying to put a leash on it. Use these keyword spotting tricks, dodging those red flags of rigid control and grabbing onto the green flags of adaptation and transparency, and you're going to navigate this exam like a total pro. But I want to leave you with this one thought. If your organization's biggest, most important project suddenly had its requirements flipped entirely upside down tomorrow, would your team break under the weight of fixed plans, or would they gracefully adapt? Keep studying, trust the Agile mindset, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.